So Father Coulter asked me to share an experience about Ignatian retreat. I went on my first silent Ignatian retreat. I was urged to by my spiritual director and had heard about them, the 4 day. So I was in the middle of a mess of my life, honestly. There was a very necessary separation that I initiated, which quickly became a divorce I didn't choose. And divorce was dragging on and on. Mediation had failed, and we were heading towards trial, which was very scary indeed. So it was in that part of my life that I went on my first silent retreat. I remember turning off my phone and being so grateful that I could leave it in the car. It was like leaving the war zone behind me and walking through the foreign embassy where I was seeking asylum. And I remember very little about that first night when I arrived at the retreat house. I dropped my bags. I think I just made it to Father Coulter's talk in the library. And I could remember sinking back into that big green armchair and seeing the plate of chocolate chip cookies on the table and finally exhaled. Like I felt safe. That night I slept like the dead. I wasn't waiting for anyone. It's a beautiful gift of the retreat house is that just the absolute quiet and there's no expectation. You're truly, truly cared for. And that weekend, my spiritual director, it's always fun when you bump into your former theology teachers from Pius, and mine taught exactly 1 year. And I just happened to have him when I was at Pius. And it was a true gift. I mean, it probably doesn't feel like a gift. Do we have anyone currently teaching at Pius right now? Okay. God bless you. God bless you. Might not feel like it when you're doling out demerits, but you really become that spiritual father. I was talking to another friend of mine who is a priest, and he said, somebody just invited me to their wedding, and they were like so awful in my class. So it was wonderful to be just to have that fatherhood figure. Father did not have to pull a lot out of me. I really just opened up. And it was clear, he just has a way of kind of piecing through what you share. And I said, there's this one part about going to trial that I'm going to call it a wild card. And I said, it's just really scary. And I was have you ever been so scared that you just have a physical reaction thinking about how scared or nervous you are? I mean, there was a lot going on. And what he said next not only shaped the course of my prayer on that retreat, but it's really changed how I pray and with myself and how I pray with others. And he said, well, that wild card, that worst thing, that's, I think, where you need to go with Jesus on this retreat. And I was like, that's not what I came out here for. I came out, how many of you can relate with this? I wanted to feel good. Life is hard. This is really hard. I was coming out for a break, just catch my breath. But I trust Father, and I said, okay, all right. I don't know if you have enough Kleenex in the retreat house because I'm a crier and I spent a lot of time in my room. But boy, he said, Andy, you're not going to be alone. Jesus and Mary are going to be with you. It's not like ruminating on the negative until that negative happens or whatever. So I went in with an open heart. It was not the retreat I came there to have. I think that's really important. If there's one thing I want to be so clear, but he helped me to have the retreat Jesus wanted for me. And so Mary showed up huge for me on that retreat. Again and again, she really brought me to her own trial as a mother at the foot of the cross, helpless to change things, which really resonated in my spirit. And I also just felt times of great comfort, like as though I was sitting in her lap and she was stroking my hair. And that is a time in my life, honestly, where I needed to feel like a beloved daughter. I really needed to feel like a beloved daughter. And, I look around this room right now and I'm so grateful because I see so many Simon of Cyrenes in my life who helped me to carry this cross here tonight. But that weekend at the retreat house, I think has been a powerful inflection point in my healing. I called up all those ladies and Bevan, because the work that you do, I really, as a mom who is constantly thinking, what are we going to eat? What do I have? What do I need? When does everybody need to leave? I didn't have to think about any of that. I could just come and be like a child, sit down to a hot meal, and all I was expected to do was bring my plate up, scrape it in the trash, and then I could go outside and take a walk or go sit in the chapel with Jesus, or without complaining, go take a nap. Can I get an amen on that when you're on retreat? So lots of things were moving spiritually by the time, but I'm not gonna lie, by the time we got to the sharing of graces, I actually went to that one because I wasn't sick. I'm listening to all of these people have these experiences that I kind of thought I had come there to have. Jesus was with me and we just had this great time. And I'm listening to everyone. I'm like, that's awesome. That's awesome. But is it too much for me to say I feel like I got hit by a bus? Because I really did. I was peaceful interiorly, what I call still water. But emotionally and physically, I was just really wrung out. So I left the retreat that day and trial did come. And in the point that we were preparing for trial, I met with my attorney and I said, now I need you to know, I think this is going to, I think this is going to go down like this. And he's been in trial law for like 31 years, family law, really successful. And I could tell he wasn't exactly thinking that was going to happen. He's like, oh yeah, okay. And ladies, can we have a moment for the feminine genius that can read the room and know things before maybe some fellas? I mean, amen. Amen. So I said, okay. And then we went to trial and I could see the wild card loading. And this guy next to me was, he's not emotionally attached to anything. And he was deeply affected by what was happening. And I could hear him under his breath, and he's like, just no, could not. And inside, I felt the same way that I did when I was sitting at the sharing of graces. I felt peaceful interiorly. I had worked out so many of those desolations around what was wounded with Jesus during that time on retreat. And finally, he turns and he looks at me and he said, how are you so calm right now? And I was like, I worked this one out with Jesus months ago. So didn't come there to have that kind of retreat, but it was the retreat Jesus wanted for me and the one that my spiritual director helped me to have. So if you haven't been on one, I just want to encourage you, because we are the primary educators of our kids. The healthier and more grounded and connected we are with Jesus ourselves, I think we're just in a better position to go out and support these youths that Scotty is talking about. And it's such a gift. So I really appreciate this opportunity to be here and share that with you, because the retreat house, which I've been back to now every year since then, has certainly blessed my socks off.